In the last video, we talked about the story of Dostoevsky. In this video, I want to talk about another famous author, Franz Kafka. Similar to Dostoevsky, he was a writer whose books and ideas have had a huge impact on modern philosophy. If we want to truly understand where he got his ideas, we need to dive deep into his life. Franz Kafka was born on July 3, 1883, in Prague, which was then part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. He came from a middle-class Jewish family. His father, Hermann Kafka, was a strict and dominant businessman, while his mother, Julie Kafka, was more gentle but less present in his life. Kafka's difficult relationship with his father had a deep impact on his personality and later influenced many of his writings. He had 5 siblings. He had 2 younger brothers, Georg and Heinrich, but sadly both died when they were very young. He also had 3 younger sisters, Gabriele, called Ellie, Valerie, called Vali, and Attilie, called Atla. Kafka was especially close to Atla, who understood him more than the others and supported him during difficult times. Franz Kafka studied law at Charles University in Prague. After finishing his studies, he worked as a lawyer in an insurance company. His job was stable, but he did not enjoy it, as it took time away from his true passion, writing. His father, a strict businessman, wanted him to have a serious and successful career, so Kafka felt pressured to continue in this path. This made their relationship even more difficult, as Kafka felt trapped between his father's expectations and his own dreams. Franz did not suddenly quit his job as a lawyer. Instead, his health began to decline, and in 1917 he was diagnosed with tuberculosis. Because of this, he had to take several breaks from work. Over time, his condition became worse, and he was eventually forced to stop working completely. This allowed him to focus more on writing, but it also marked a difficult period in his life, as he was struggling with illness and isolation. Franz Kafka's tuberculosis gradually made it impossible for him to continue working at the insurance company. He spent long periods resting at home or staying in sanatoriums, trying to manage his weakening body. Despite his declining health, Kafka was deeply committed to writing. He spent hours each day at his desk, often late into the night, crafting stories that explored the anxieties, alienation, and absurdity of modern life. During this time, he became closer to a few friends and family members, especially his sister Atla, who supported him emotionally and helped care for him. His illness also intensified his sense of isolation. He often felt trapped in his own body, which reflected in the themes of helplessness and oppression in his novels. Even though Kafka's health was failing, he continued to write letters, diary entries, and stories that would later become classics, like the Metamorphosis and The Trial. He never married, and romantic relationships were difficult due to his frail body and constant preoccupation with his work. Kafka's life ended on June 3, 1924, at the age of 40. His death was caused by complications from tuberculosis, leaving behind a remarkable body of work that captured the struggles of the individual against society, bureaucracy, and inner fears. His writing, filled with insight into human anxiety and existential struggle, remains highly influential to this day. He was buried in the New Jewish Cemetery in Prague. His grave is simple, marked with a stone, and reflects his modest and private life. Many fans visit the cemetery to pay tribute to the writer whose works have had a lasting impact on literature. Franz Kafka's life was not easy. But maybe that's the point. Because in the end, he showed us that even the most broken feelings can create something powerful. That even when you feel lost, confused, or alone, your story still has value. Kafka never saw how famous he would become. He never saw how his words would touch millions of people. And maybe, just like him, you don't see your own value yet. But that doesn't mean it's not there. If you ever feel like the world is too heavy, like you don't belong, or like no one understands you, remember Kafka, a man who turned pain into meaning and silence into a voice that the world could never forget.